Welcome to Street Circle Drive here on the Mesh Podcast Network. Street Circle Drive is your Hickory, North Carolina-centric podcast for people who love Hickory, North Carolina. You Hickory nuts, here we are back again today. I am your host, Andrew Moose. Today with me, I have three co-hosts. Sitting directly across from me is Mr. Mark Seaman. How you doing, Mark?
Wonderful, Moose. How about yourself?
Doing perfect. Sitting to Mark's left, Mr. Richard Dowdy. How you doing?
Good morning, afternoon, or wherever you guys listening.
Good morning, afternoon, and good night.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening.
That's right. And sitting to Richard's left, we have Miss Cleese Plant.
Good afternoon. I almost said good morning.
It's close.
Almost got her.
It all depends on when they listen.
Yeah,
Right.
you're going to get somebody.
Right, we release these at midnight, generally speaking, so you never know when you're going to catch them.
I actually listened to the last episode at about 2 a.m. So.
Oh, well, thank you for the number.
Yeah.
So is that morning? That's technically morning, but really 2 a.m. is night. Still
That
to
is
me.
still work hours for me. So yeah, that's still a work day for me.
Right, so, we couldn't do this podcast without you, and we do sincerely appreciate you tuning in. Once you've listened to this podcast, we'd love it if you'd head over to the mesh.tv and subscribe to this show and all the other ones so you receive new Street Circle Drive podcasts as soon as they drop each and every other Tuesday. I believe is the clip we're on right now. Every other Tuesday.
We'll go with that. Yeah,
We'll
it sounds
stick
good.
with that.
It sounds good.
Yeah, so on the Mesh Network, we've got all kinds of shows. Countries with John Reep, Kathleen Madigan's Pubcast, big fan, Chick Chat, Entrepreneur Exchange, I'm with the Man, Foot Cannon Films podcast, and more every day. So we appreciate you tuning in and all that good stuff. After the last installment of Street Circle Drive, let me tell you, we had some people respond to our podcast, and it was great. All positive feedback too, which was just different. And we actually had some of those quote unquote detractors that I was so eloquently speaking about actually reach out and say, you know what, I think you're right. I think that I'm just kidding. Nobody did.
I was about to say, man, look, hey.
Wow,
What
that's
do
a
you
big
got?
With the
win.
arches, with the arches falling, I found the toxic side of it. It's like, wow, where have you guys been?
I thought we were making a dent into that.
Man,
but
the
I guess
impact.
not.
I was like, we had impact.
No,
Impact.
we had tens of compliments. So yeah, if you guys haven't listened to that podcast, you can find it on wherever you do find your podcast. Mark, you and I were speaking offline today at lunch about the what's next for the arches, what's going on. I think I just saw that the Hickory Daily Record just reported that City of Hickory will not be conducting an investigation for the arches per their insurance platform. Is that correct?
That is correct. So the arches, the walkway, and the bridge itself, none of that is actually owned by the city.
What?
Oh,
So they had not taken the bridge itself is a DOT road.
Correct.
So that's not owned by the city. And then the arches and the bridge over had not been assumed. The city had not assumed responsibility yet for those pieces. So the contractor, and I might get some of this wrong, but contractor, subcontractor, the folks that built the arches, as well as the engineers, are the ones that still are kind of involved with that. And then they'll have their insurance companies will then do investigations and determine basically how it's going to be handled moving forward. So it doesn't make sense. The city obviously has skin in the game, but they don't own it. So if the city does an independent insurance investigation, and then they say maybe something that's different or something that is...
It could screw the pooch in the long
it really
run.
could. Because
Yeah.
it doesn't really affect... I mean, it does affect the city. You got to be careful to use the words, but
Yeah.
it's their responsibility right now to figure out what happened.
Right.
And then make the city whole for that. So that's kind of where you're at this point. And then there's also been some questions about, will any reports be released? And that is also not within the city's control because the city is not doing the reports.
Right. It just seems like it's just indemnifying responsibility at every turn for everyone. Who can we get to? And this is not on the city per se, but there's a whole lot of buck passing going on right now, and it gets to the point to where you have to wade through the weeds and the semantics to figure out as a citizenry like who's responsible and who's like how are we going to fix this, and it just seems like as of right now. The responsibility is not on the city.
Correct.
Correct.
Because it's not the city's property. It seems weird to say that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
technically the city has not received those items. They did not take responsibility for those items, so it is not the city's property.
So, Mark, are you saying that City of Hickory might have skated one here?
There
Maybe.
would
You can take your City of Hickory hat off.
that I don't really know for sure.
Right.
I mean, obviously timing, if you take responsibility, but there still would have been insurance in place, and there's still, which I'm not pertinent to this information, but there's still, I'm sure, was a warranty in place. So yes, if this would have happened 30 years from now, then it might have been left in the city's lap.
Right.
But even if it happened in the near future, I would think there would be mechanisms in place to protect the city.
Certainly. So as it sits right now, today is March the 2nd, I believe, and we're podcasting around lunchtime. The what's left of our arches in Hickory are still on the bridge and will be on there for the foreseeable future.
Until whoever's doing the investigation releases, until who all those insurance companies are, says, hey, okay, it's good, we got all the information we need, go ahead and clean it up.
So it's like an active scene, like on CSI.
Yeah, it really
Don't
is.
touch the scene. Nobody touches the scene.
That's right. It is. That's why it's blocked off. That's why you
Chalk
can't go
around
up there.
it, is it white chalk?
There is 24-hour security up there.
Hey, give the internet a couple of minutes. It'll be a chalked out line in the arch.
That's exactly right.
Right. So,
So who knows how long that's all going to take? That's really kind of, again, out of the city's hands. And then you're going to have when this will all be cleared up will probably be a while. If anybody's ever had a car accident, and it takes a while to go through the process of insurance, whether it's your fault or somebody else's fault, it takes a while for all that to go through. Well, imagine that's your car. This is $750,000.
right.
So it'll take a little while for this whole. People aren't going to get answers as quick as they would like.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well,
no
I gotta
doubt.
tell you, it just makes me so sad when I drive under there, and then also cautious because they're still there, and then I'm thinking, okay, well, who's going to remove them? But it looks like it's going to take a while, so I guess I'll just continue to drive under them.
They could be
I don't
removed
know.
in a little while. I mean, the removal piece might be sooner. I mean, you can only investigate so much. You walk around it, you take
Hey,
photos.
You said
you look
insurance
at
companies.
it.
They can find
So
some stuff.
it could be removed here before too long,
Sure.
but it might be a while before there's any actual resolution on what's going to happen moving forward.
Right. So, in other words, we as a citizen of Hickory will just need to be patient because
We're just going to
if
wait it
we are
out.
anything, we are patient in this town.
That's
right?
exactly right. You just got to be patient. Just got to let it play itself out.
That's right. So on the last podcast, we talked about. I mentioned that I have not driven under that bridge yet. Today, going to lunch was the first time that I drove under that, and I gave it a little praise Jesus. I'm like that, pumping, raising the roof a little bit as I was driving underneath it.
You're trying to raise the bridge.
Just trying to, putting all the juju out there in the universe.
I was right behind him, so I saw that. I'm thinking, is he trying to also drive and make sure, like,
Yeah.
If anything falls, I'm gonna catch it with
their
their hand.
Right.
I was putting all the Pollyanna, the goodness out there and trying to raise that roof just a little bit.
I'll be honest with you. Until I listened to the last podcast, I wasn't really concerned about it. I mean, I drove under it, and maybe like 2 weeks ago, I saw that area where the arch fell and broke off a piece of the sidebar of the bridge. But I hadn't thought anything of it. And then, I mean, I drive there 2 or 3 times a day, going and picking up the boys. And then you guys mentioned it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's possible. But then Mike, he had a really good point. It was how many of these bridges are already like deteriorated and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
so I'm like,
It's a lot.
Until I see rubble falling.
Right. I think there's been a lot of studies out there that have determined that a lot of infrastructure in the United States is, and not only just in Hickory, is
across the board,
dilapidated. And maybe that bridge, now that a 40-ton structure has fallen on it, might get a bump in the line to get up there for repairs. But we digress, right? So I don't know about y'all, but I'm kind of tired of talking about the arches already.
I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, me too.
I'm ready to move on.
So we're gonna bury it right there until the next podcast, probably, when we can give some updates. But until then, let's talk about John Reep running for mayor. Why don't we?
Okay.
saw that
I'm
online.
so glad we're on this subject.
Right. So this week, friend of the podcast, Mr. John Reep, has went to the Board of Elections and attempted to file to run for mayor. And we are a very neutral place here in Street Circle Drive, and we will not throw our support behind any candidate. But it looks like John might be out this year.
He had to get moved into Hickory.
Yeah, by
right?
Friday, and I
his
think,
mom stays in my neighborhood, man.
Right, exactly, and he does too. Like, yeah, he's there with him. So
okay, I've seen him walking around. Yeah,
right. So which kind of brings me to the point. We see the most, I would say, popular politician right now in the whole world who was a comedian, President Zelensky from Ukraine. He was a former stand-up comedian. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for someone who is outside of the political spectrum to be able to jump into this arena. And maybe Reep will squeeze it in. I don't know. I mean, he's got a lot of irons in the fire, but it's at least what do you think about this?
I saw that and I thought, oh my goodness, this could really probably shake up the next City of Hickory's election. I mean, I'm like a political wonk, so I love to hear stories like this, but I just think, just to probably throw something into the fire, yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Sort of mix it up a little bit.
Mix it up a bit, why not? I feel like this, if you have it in you and you think you're qualified, then go ahead.
Well, I mean, and I feel like we've seen it across the United States. Arnold, governor out in California, Trump. I mean, these are guys. Ronald Reagan,
Yeah.
right? One of the originals. But I mean, it's not above somebody to be able to transition into that. And kind of to the point that you guys were making last podcast, and you were kind of saying when we started off, there sometimes is a lack of figurehead or someone out there to be in front of the public and take those hard type questions and stuff like that. He has experience being on stage, probably being heckled and stuff. So
100%.
So I mean, he may also bring a presence that some people may welcome. So I mean,
right.
If he's qualified to do it, hey, I support him. If not, hey, he'll hear it from everybody else before me. But I'm not going to knock him just because of what his profession was. So
Right.
I'm for anybody throwing their hat in the ring.
Right.
Anybody that wants to, if she thinks they're qualified, and my only thing would be just make sure you realize what you're getting yourself into.
Exactly.
Right.
There's a lot more that goes into it. And it depends on the city. It depends on the size of the town.
How it's run.
Exactly. Yeah. But, you're talking about citizens calling you. Mm-hmm. It's one of those jobs that I don't care who you are. You're not going to make everybody happy.
Nope.
no,
Just by nature, you are at least going to, if you're lucky, you're going to get 50-50. And that might be lucky.
Yeah, that's lucky. And local, and being in local government, sometimes you can win over the detractors. I see you use the word detractors a lot.
that's the word of the podcast.
They do. I think local politicians is easier to cross party lines than it would be on a national scale, because it's just you're in much closer quarters, and the issues are so. I don't want to say simpler, but
you get more information. They're not
Right.
it's not as complex.
Right,
Right.
100%.
As like national issues. Now, but you also got to realize your neighbor who's in your district is going to call you because their neighbor's dog is going to the bathroom in their yard and they think
Right.
you should do something about
Right.
it.
Right.
So
You
you,
have the power.
you get serious, you get serious comments, but you also get a lot of stuff that people want you to act on that may be beyond your realm of what your responsibility is.
Right.
And you have to have a thick skin too.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm all for somebody bringing some levity to some of these situations, but it is a serious
Right.
job. And I'm not speaking necessarily for John's pick because he might be 100% serious about it, which is awesome.
He had a jacket on. I saw the jacket when he went in.
He was dressed. I mean, it was.
He had a ball cap on,
I'm
but he
giving him
had
the
the
benefit
jacket.
of the doubt. I'm giving him the benefit of the
No,
doubt.
the
But I
question
think
was one of the buttons buttoned? If it was buttoned, that was serious. If it was open,
we had to do the right button, too.
Yeah, the right button.
You got to do
I
the
figured
second
that out,
button,
too.
right? You got to go second button
I didn't know
if
you
you're going
could
to be
button both
serious.
buttons. I didn't know that. Look.
That's right.
Everybody's got fashion. This is a fashion sense podcast.
Hey man, we cover it all. We cover the whole gamut, man.
That's right.
But no, I'm with you guys, man. Like, again, it's just it would be something different, something new, and if he's going to take it seriously, then like you said, everybody throw their
And
hand
I
in.
will say this: I'm all for people getting more involved.
Exactly.
Everybody. Now, I would recommend that if you're gonna run for whatever, whether it's mayor or city council, go to some city council meetings.
Exactly.
beforehand, so you kind of know what. At least you don't get all the behind the scenes
Go to
stuff.
a Ridgeview community meeting.
Go
Oh,
to a
yes.
Ridgeview Concerned Citizen meeting. There's
Right.
also Kenworth has a meeting. Yeah, there's a bunch of neighborhood meetings. Go to some of those things and see what actually is going on.
Yeah.
Even city council can be
Yeah.
eye opening
Yeah,
sometimes, especially if you go at a particular time. There's actually very heavily debated topic in Hickory right now about housing / condos
in Morse Ferry.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
right,
right outside Morse Ferry, right off
Correct.
127, and it is there's some lines have been drawn on whether people want that or don't want that.
Right.
And so that is going to go to city council for approval. And you've got people on both sides of that with obviously very strong opinions
Right.
that you're going to have to answer to.
Well, and that's what I was going to say earlier before we said we were going to stop talking about the arches is when you look online and you hear all of the opinions that people had around them, it's like, well, they met about this. We have, like you said, we have council meetings and stuff like that. If you're interested or you want to know, like you have to go to these things. And if you want to be a quote unquote detractor, like you said, that's your opportunity to get that out there. And again,
And there's
kind of
a-
not negotiated, but to get your point of view out there. So don't after the fact then go and be like, well, we shouldn't have been using it for this, shouldn't have been using it for that. Did you go to any of the meetings?
Right.
No.
And full disclosure, I did serve on the bond on the Riverwalk committee. So, I totally understand the meetings. And plus the meetings were free, open to the public.
Very open, yep.
And also, too, just to circle back around about people serving, people can also serve on boards and commissions, which there is such an immediate need to those.
Yeah.
And just if you're going to start out in the political world, that would be the first thing I would do is start out with boards and commissions and then work your way up. Or you could get lucky and you could become mayor or president with one shot.
That's a great suggestion, Cleese.
Yes.
To serve on one of those.
Yeah.
Any of them. I mean,
Any
like
of
you
them.
Or
start to see
multiple.
so much that's going on in the community that's outside of your immediate point of view.
Right. Right.
I like to see John's community involvement. Full disclosure, John's a friend of mine. He produces podcasts right here where we're sitting at the Mesh. And when the subject was breached, and I think John has he's got talk about thick skin. Man's got thick skin. But there are those folks that think that when John in his act talks about Hickory, that he's making fun of Hickory, which is the furthest point from where he is as an actual human being. That man loves this town. And I think he would be a 100% great if the cards would fall right and he was able to run. And these are all just what if ifs were fists, we'd all be drunk, right? So if he's able to run for mayor, if he wins, if he beats whomever that's running, Hank and the other fellows that are running, I think it's both fellows if I'm not mistaken. But if the point did get to the fact where it was a serious, this is Mayor John Reep of Hickory, North Carolina, I think he would be a cheerleader, and I think he would take it serious. And don't discount the fact that people might just vote for him as a goof.
That's possible.
Oh, name
That's true.
recognition.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's and not to say that I don't think he's qualified, because I think that he might be qualified, but we'll see. Time will tell.
Absolutely. I think we don't know if he is or isn't.
No, I think it's still in limbo. I mean, we're sitting here on Wednesday, March 2nd, and he has until Friday to find residence in Hickory, and it's permanent residence. And you can get into the wonkiness, as Clee said, about law and everything else, about what type or how long he needs to stay there, and is this a real residence, whatever. But we'll see what happens. Only time will tell, like I said.
So Friday's the deadline, right?
Right, Friday's
Okay.
the deadline. So good luck to Mr. Reep and Mayor Guest and all those folks that are thinking about throwing their hat into the ring. But I will
We can
say
update
this.
that and touch on it next
We
podcast
will.
out, because we'll know who all is running by
That's
then.
right.
We certainly will. And we welcome everyone who is running for mayor onto this podcast to talk about that, their candidacy. We've had mayoral candidates on here before talking about their candidacy, as well as we've had Mayor Guest on our podcast, and he is a friend of the podcast too. So anyone in that political realm who'd like to come and talk about that, we are available. You can send us an email at info@themesh.tv, and we'll be happy to work that out. Maybe even stick around for a forum or a debate, because we've facilitated those before, and that might be in line too. But I will say this. I thought for the longest time that the mayor's job was pretty cake. Until I went to a Ridgeview Community Service. What's the word exactly? I don't want to butcher that.
Concerned citizens?
Concerned citizens of Ridgeview. Correct? Is that right?
Ridgeview Concerned Citizens.
Ridgeview
meeting.
Concerned Citizens, right. So I popped my head into one of those meetings a couple months ago, and they made their voices heard. Let's put it that way to Hank, and it's a contentious position to be in as a mayor, and it's you really have to think twice about if you want to do that or not, because he left and he didn't have a good night. So just anybody out there who's thinking about running for mayor or any political office, make sure that you're ready to catch it, because you will.
So Moose, just for I guess the recap of people who, don't live in Ridgeview or may not be as attuned to what's going on in Ridgeview, what were the main issues from that meeting?
Okay, so just the one main point was, and this was before, full disclosure, this was before the library had reopened and been remodeled. They were concerned that a lot of their recreational space had been used for a library, and that the length of time that it was taking to revamp the library, as well as the Ridgeview pool. That's all, it always gets brought up. And so, there was some, like the name says, concerned citizens in that community. And but I will say this: I was impressed with how engaged that community was, and the amount of people that actually showed up to that meeting, because I've never been to my community. I mean, Mark, you live in my neighborhood. We
don't have a community.
I nominate you
meeting
for president of our new neighborhood committee.
I'll check my calendar. I think I'm a little booked with committee commitments right now. So
claiming not it for that role immediately.
But there is I mean, like I mentioned, Kenworth has one. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. West Hickory has one. I think there's another one off Springs Road. I'm trying to. There's 5 or 6 different neighborhood groups that do meet on a pretty regular basis.
Right. So we touched on a little bit before we're kind of jumping back and forth. So I apologize to our listeners. There is a point of contention that is hitting a lot of folks in Hickory, and that is the proposed space right outside Morse Ferry that they're planning on building. Rental properties of some form or fashion, and folks aren't happy about it, especially in that neighborhood. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I think we can, or what the plans are for that. I should know, hosting a Hickory-centric podcast and all, but I do not know. But there are some people that are upset with the way that was handled, and I know the Lat Purser group out of Charlotte is the developer in that project. I think they're more concerned about the traffic, and there were some other comments that were made, I'm sure, but I think the main point of contention was traffic.
There's 2 real points. There's going to be housing. There's also going to be some duplexes. It is mixed use, yeah. And so the traffic was a concern, and obviously Morse Ferry's. My understanding is, I think all of it or most of it is owner owned. There's not. Is there some renters in there and duplexes?
I would imagine it's probably like 95%.
But I think they were concerned about maybe some of the rental pieces as well, as what some of the articles said in the paper.
Yeah.
So the traffic and then the rental piece and just the number of and I forget the number of units that they've talked about that are supposed to go in there. It's quite a few.
Right. And is this considered affordable housing, or is this condos like you said? Or
I think it's just all rental.
It is not. Well, it's not all rental.
Oh, it's not.
No. Okay. There'll be like you said, a mixed. There'll be houses for sale, and there'll be rental. No, it's not affordable housing. Like they were talking about the rental units going anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month.
Okay, so definitely not affordable housing.
No, it's not affordable housing.
Okay, when I was mentioned mixed use, there's also going to be commercial properties. They're also going to be in that space as well. Correct?
Not sure about that.
Okay, did I just make that up?
Maybe.
Okay.
But I'm not
it sounded good, though. It sounded good.
It did.
But it's possible.
And if we're going to talk about that, we're going to just talk about this other spot too. the former Hampton Heights Golf Course is also being developed into a residential community there, and I'm not sure how many houses are going to
About 300, I believe.
300. Okay, so
gracious.
if anybody is concerned about traffic, it should be the people that live over there.
Yeah, LR, that little cut through there. I mean, I missed the golf course already, man. Like,
Yeah, same.
I wish I had enough money to buy it, but I was.
Yeah, I mean I cut my teeth at that place. You know, I've got so many fond memories of playing golf at Hampton Heights. I learned how to play golf there. Yeah, I hate it that it's gone. I do, and it's.
I would say that it was a great place. It's great to have a public course in the city of Hickory.
Right in the
Exactly.
It was affordable. You could take anybody out there. It was a great place to teach kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think the problem was it was a horrible place to try to run a business. And I just think it was, for what they were charging and what they could charge, I think it was hard to make the numbers make sense.
100%.
So I to be honest with you, I'm
I
surprised
got
it took
squeezed
that.
out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think eventually that land was just too valuable as a golf
Well,
course.
I really thought that LR would jump on that because of the proximity to the school. And I thought, oh, well, maybe that would be perfect. But I guess we're going to have to just deal with condos or apartments or what have you.
I can't believe the City of Hickory Recreation Department didn't buy it.
I thought I was thinking city course.
Right.
I can't believe the Parks Department didn't turn it into a muni.
Man, I'm a guy with
But, you
dreadlocks
know,
should have went to a city council meeting and mentioned that or something.
Right.
Yeah.
You should have.
So, but jumping into that space, golf is a tough business. It was booming during COVID, though. I mean, let's be honest. That was one of the industries that did do really, really well through the pandemic because it was an outside activity. You were able to spread out. You could. I know a lot of golf courses were super accommodating with single rider golf carts and things like that. So you really were able to do that. Now Hampton Heights did present a different problem. Now, granted, this is me completely riffing off the cuff, but Mark made a great point. You can only bring the standard up to a golf course up to a level to where people will actually pay the amount of money it takes to be able to keep it at a certain standard, and it's just this weird sliding scale. And Hampton Heights just didn't have the infrastructure to do it. I mean,
The space, the acreage. I mean, that thing was packed in.
Tiny.
It was
tiny.
Some of those holes were
It was dangerous.
funky.
It was dangerous in some points.
Well, especially if you were on the other side of when I was swinging, because
Right.
I'm going to hook it or shank it.
there were parallel holes there that were. I mean, you were visiting your neighbor holes a lot.
That's right.
So, but yeah, R.I.P. Hampton Heights Golf Club. I think that was a great place for a long time, and we're sorry it's gone. But
So as far as housing, do we have that big of a housing shortage
do.
as far as?
I think we
You
do.
do. There's
Okay.
like
It
the
is
rental market.
top.
Well, everything that I hear from people that are renting is like that the price is just outrageous, and like you see it on our Facebook groups, like people were like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, $1,500. I'm like, wow, like
And
get
I
a
think
mortgage.
that's because there's not that much property.
Because the demand is.
And so the demand is,
So if we're going to be bringing housing in and
we have
and
all
it's not
these open jobs.
affordable,
Right.
then what's that going to do for everybody?
I think as you have more housing units, that'll settle the pricing a little bit because you'll
Right.
have more inventory.
Okay,
Right.
so people have to come down a bit on their pricing. Hopefully.
Correct. That's
Hopefully.
just my opinion. I don't
Well,
know
and
if that's
I'm only
accurate
speaking for
statement or
those
not.
that, like I said, that are at a point where,
Right.
okay, I'm not going out to pick a place just because I like downtown. I like that. I can't afford that. So
Right.
just like I think we have a group of our citizens that are going to be like, okay, well, that's not even in my price range anyway. So
Well, to answer that question, the place just opened not too far from where we're taping this, which is affordable apartments.
okay, the one right here
Right.
across from Safe Harbor.
Correct.
Okay,
It's
That's-
50 and over, correct?
50 and over. It is 50 and over, but it's also assisted housing too. So
Okay.
depending the article I read, it ranges from as low as like maybe $300 a month that you would have to pay up to about $900.
Shut the front door.
Depending on your economic situation.
Yeah.
okay. See, no, it didn't look
Because there
like
was an
that.
article in the paper actually about that place that a gentleman was living in his car for the last 3 years, and when that opened, he was able to
Oh
move
my
into
goodness.
a place.
That's great.
Well, I can tell you when we first moved here, like 10, 11 years ago, we had 2 dogs, and it was hard to rent in Hickory because the houses that we were looking at to rent did not have a fence, or maybe they did not rent to you because you had dogs. So I know now the price, if you have pets and you need somewhere to go and you don't want to give up the pet, you probably will have to pay a premium for that. Unfortunately.
As an ex-property manager, I can understand, though, because some people will just let their dogs ransack.
Right. Everywhere.
Tinkle all over the place, bite things up, and then like you go back in, and it's like your security deposit won't cover this one room. Like so, yeah. So, but it's I could bet that's probably hard, especially with 2 dogs. Like,
yeah, and they were like small dogs.
So that's what about $1,000 in a pet deposit.
Yeah, and our dogs weren't the brightest ones. So
Are you making a case for the other side now?
maybe. Like, hey,
You know what?
And I do want
let
to
me
make.
turn this back around.
I do
You
want
know
to
what? That pet deposit.
Why are you
charge
talking
it.
about that?
Why?
Bitsy and Daryl were great little dogs.
And I do want to
Poor
mention
things.
that I am
R.I.P.
You had a
impressed.
dog, Daryl. I like it. I love it.
Daryl and Dion.
Oh, the real name.
Yeah,
I am
Daryl
impressed
and
that
Dion.
Richard was able to work in tinkle in today's
did.
podcast.
I had to think about how to say that. I was like, okay, my son is back behind
he
me.
worked
Like,
that in.
they're going to listen to
that's impressive that we were able to slide that word in today.
People with young kids.
Thank you.
are-
There, you're nice. There we go.
All right.
I don't need them hearing daddy on the internet saying inappropriate
Maybe
terms.
maybe for the future we can have like a magic word of the podcast.
Oh, you got to
See if
work
we
it in.
can- See if we can work it in.
Well,
Maybe
detractors has been it for the
Maybe
for the day.
people can email in if they can guess what the
Dude.
magic word is. Maybe they win a prize.
But they
I
seem
give
to
them a
respond
month
to
free at the rec
retractors.
center or something. If they,
They like
email-
the-
Wait, hold on a second. Month free.
a month free at the rec center if they pick out the magic word.
Oh, okay. At the rec center, I was like, hold on, don't bring that to reputable
It's like-
website.
Right. Well, you get a free month by saying tinkle. You have to say the password is tinkle.
That sounds like a radio show type game show or something like that. Can you guess what the magic word was for the podcast?
Yes.
That's right. This is the point of the podcast where I put in an ad spot. So if you're someone who is interested in advertising on this podcast on the Mesh Network or any of the other podcasts here on our network, head over to themesh.tv, check out those shows, and send me an email at info@themesh.tv, and I would be very happy to talk to you about how you can get involved with our network. So,
A carpet cleaning place would have been perfect in that spot right there.
Yes.
it was. It would have been great. Gym clean.
I was gonna say, call us next
freestyle.
time. We'll work that in.
Work
next time.
that in.
That's right.
That's right. I like Charles Reed out of Conover. That's who I used.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm mad you had a carpet cleaner on demand, like you could just pull one up
I know
like that.
that
Like,
was
That's right.
quick.
Yeah. Well, I also have those dogs that tinkle all over my office. So I have them on speed.
you got a
dial.
monthly plan, a subscription.
Oh, me too.
It's
Coco.
it's a thing. It's a thing.
I have Coco Chanel and Gigi.
What?
Yes, she is not. She's very bad, but she's very cute.
That's right. That's right.
You called her Coco Chanel, so she was destined to.
She
be.
was destined.
She was-
She's definitely
Yeah.
destined to tinkle
Yeah.
wherever she wants.
Excuse
Yeah.
you, like no.
Yeah, but
Right.
Rip, Dion, and Daryl.
Right. So some things that we do like to talk about on this podcast are some great events that are coming up. Does anyone have anything that they would like to bring up about events that that are coming into town, or events that you guys are involved with?
We're starting a mountain bike series, 5-week on Sundays. It's going to be out at Hickory City Park, Geithner Park, and the mountain bike trails out there.
Oh, that's
It
awesome.
starts this coming Sunday for 5 weeks, so that
Wow.
should be pretty neat.
Oh, that's killer.
Nice.
That's something kind of new. Okay.
Yes.
I like that.
Absolutely. And Google is your friend, too, because I just plugged in Hickory, North Carolina events this month. And there are so many great things that are happening in our town within the next month or so. So I would encourage you guys to go and check that out on the interwebs. We also do a food segment. I'm just blazing past these Hickory events because we kind of are running short on time. But we were able to go eat at the new Korean-style chicken place called 92Chicken. It's located at 310 U.S. Highway 70 Southwest in Hickory. It is located right before you get to McDonald's there on 70, right there at the Paramount Kia, formerly the Hot Potato Restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah, across from the U-Haul, across from Resource Warehouse.
That's
Right.
it.
Yep,
Right
that's
Station
correct.
2, the
That's it.
Old Village Inn on 70. It's all
Look, that's
right
all
there.
plugs.
The old
right there.
German
All
restaurant.
plugs.
Heidelberg.
The old German restaurant.
That's right.
I never went there. I wanted to try that. When I
Authentic
first
German
moved to
food.
Hickory, I was like,
it's your fault. Because
Yeah.
they closed
It was
down.
good.
yes, it's
Yes.
me. It was me.
It was your,
That one
It was German
bratwurst that I
food.
did not come get. Like,
It was heavy, though.
Right.
It
well,
was
that's
heavy.
what I was hoping
That's
for.
what
Like
German food-
bratwurst is all meat, just all
Oh,
meat
yeah.
dishes.
So 92 Chicken, I believe we don't usually do chains, but I think they are a very small chain here. Somewhere.
I did not know that.
I looked it up on the way here, and there was a couple other locations, but the only one close to Hickory that I know of. I thought the food was fantastic. I had the lunch special 5 drumsticks, it came with 3 drumsticks and French fries, and it was in some sort of like kind of hot, spicy, sweet sauce. It was good, man. I thought the fries were good.
Oh,
Mark, what'd you have?
I had 5 tenders. I had a red hot pepper sauce.
How you feeling right now?
Whew, it's good. It gets you.
You're coming from it right after we.
I feel bad because I used all their napkins blowing my nose because it was making my nose run.
Okay,
but it was
up,
really good. I liked it.
This place had plastic gloves on the table.
yeah.
Yes.
That's how you know it's legit.
Oh, so those are real peppers.
I'm
that
telling
pepper means.
you,
I
yeah.
mean, don't put these on open cuts on your hand.
Nope.
I'm guessing
It was hot.
I've never seen that.
Could you
before.
No, I
imagine
haven't
eating one of those
either.
and rubbing your eye or something?
It was
after
so
that?
bad. Mark and I made a mess of that table because I also too was grabbing the napkins because I was eating. Well, I tried to eat the chicken with the fork, and you can't do that.
No.
So
You gotta get in there.
yeah, and I did. I
You
said,
had drumsticks too. That was.
"Oh yeah."
Yeah,
I
for
didn't
sure.
care if the people were right beside us. I had to dig in there and the chicken, and then dip the chicken in the curry sauce. Oh my goodness!
It was excellent.
Oh,
It was the fries were good. I like crispy fries. That's my preference.
Yes.
And the fries were crispy, and there was some sort of a it wasn't really traditional coleslaw, but it was some sort of coleslaw, and I thought it was very good as well.
Yes.
I thought you got a good sized portion. It came with the lunch special that Moose mentioned came with a drink as well. So I thought it was I thought it was well worth. I thought you got your money's worth.
Yes.
I thought the food was excellent. The service was good. They were very nice. We got it in what I thought was a timely manner.
exactly.
I'd
Perfect.
recommend it. I'd give it a thumbs up.
I would.
What would
too.
you rate it out of? What would you rate it?
Oh wow! Or what are we? What's our scale here?
you
1
know
to
me.
10.
You know
One
me.
to
You know me. I'll have a different scale every week.
Well,
It's
we're
1
going-
to 12.
Right.
I would. I mean,
I personally go 1 out of 7, but go ahead. I do. That's it. Mark knows.
well, 1 out of
gotta earn
6
those
and a
points.
half.
Out of 7.
I would say it was I don't really know anything wrong with it.
Right.
It was a 7.
I agree. Like it was the chicken was so crispy to where I came in there in the restaurant with a clean shirt on, and then I left with stain.
evidence.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get like the stain remover because I didn't care about the sauce dripping or whatever. It was that good to where I was proud of my shirt when I left out of there.
That is a mark of a good
It
meal
is.
right there.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. I don't have any complaints whatsoever about it. It was,
I have a
it was
big
clean.
complaint. I didn't get in time. I came to the door as you guys were walking out, and so I left with disappointment. Like,
None for you, Richard.
I opened the door, and it was like this smell hit me. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I was like, you know what? Let's turn back around. Let's get back
yeah.
in there. But yeah,
For sure.
so
Well, full
I will be
disclosure,
going to try.
It wasn't Richard's fault because we tried 2 different places for lunch today. We tried to go to the new Fresh Chef here in town, and it was just packed. It was slammed. So congratulations to those folks too.
And the elderly people weren't playing around with the parking spaces. They know.
there
That
was
parking
100
looks
people-
crazy, man.
There was
No, it's-
75 people there and 75 cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody
And-
drove their
And
own
about
car.
Oh, yeah.
12
Yeah.
parking spots.
Yeah.
They're going to have to fix that. I will say that.
Yeah.
But what
Not
can
that
they
I
do
want
with
to
that
be
little bit of
negative
space,
to them
though?
because it sounds like they're killing it,
Yeah,
which
they
is
are.
awesome.
That looks- it
but
sounds like
they got a
they're
parking issue.
Oh, and by the way, that's only half the building too. The other half is still.
Oh my
I
goodness.
see it's still being renovated. I saw them putting the HVAC system in
Right.
or something like that this morning.
But I mean, it is launch, so a lot of people meet, as Moose said. So there's a lot of single drivers. May not be as bad in the evening where people.
But you have to have a
cars.
strategy with the parking lot because I said I was watching the people that were coming in there. I said they did that with their car. I said, how can I do that? They actually did that.
You made that happen with a car. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Cleese, what would you rank that place if you're just doling out rankings?
Well, I have to keep it easy, 1 to 10. So I'm gonna do. Well, I can't give everybody a 10, so I have to do like a 9.5.
Right, it's good. I mean, it's good
So-
fried chicken.
You got to earn. You got to
gotta
earn that
earn it. I
last
have to
45.
go back.
I will say, I mean, it's basic. I mean, you're not, you're not going to cafe rule or the vintage house.
So you don't have to get
you
dressed
gotta understand
up.
what you're going for. And
Right.
so I think that's what they promised is what they delivered.
Wear an old shirt.
Yeah,
She said keep a shirt in the car.
Yeah.
That's right.
you're
And to
gonna
all
have
the
to.
other restaurants out there, like if you would like us to feature you, Fresh Chef, we couldn't get in there today. Maybe make a little bit of time for us to come in and
That's right.
before the podcast.
there you go. On the Andrew Moose Street Circle Drive food rankings, I give it a 5.7 out of 7, which is roughly an 81%. So we were really happy with.
You got people doing math.
Absolutely, we were really happy with 92 Chicken, Korean style chicken.
Smells delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard's nose really appreciated
Yeah,
it.
my nostrils say it was about an 8.5.
That's
Okay.
right. So Hickory Nuts, we're running out of time today. We appreciate you guys listening and tuning in and all that good stuff. Again, please go and subscribe to this podcast and all the other ones on the Mesh TV. My name is Andrew Moose.
My name is Cleese.
Richard Dowdy.
Mark Seaman.
We are Street Circle Drive. Take it easy, Hickory Nuts.
We're out.
Bye.